There we go. Ah. Hi everyone, welcome back to Katarina's Garage. My name is Katarina Lloyd, and today we're actually going to be talking about why I don't just put a V8 in this car. And there's a few reasons for that, to be honest. One of them is just, to be honest, I love the inline six. Yes, it is underpowered at the moment, but when I actually get this thing built up, it will be beating up on V8 cars. So, and to be honest, that's going to happen relatively soon. Like, not the full build up that I want, like I'm not going to be getting a cam in it anytime soon, or modifying the header anytime soon, but the header could potentially happen within the next couple of months. So, stay tuned for that. However, the one thing is, and I'm really excited to actually have my car up and going again because I finally fixed the throttle cable on the car, and that took quite a while. I just did not have the energy. I'm finally starting to get some of my energy back, and now I have my car back again, my reliable car, because the other one, if you haven't seen some of my updates recently, that car has been very unreliable. So let's pop the hood on this thing, or, well, it already is popped, and well, let's open the hood and show you guys what's been done so far to this car, and just how good it looks under here. Because now there's actually an air cleaner on the car, which is awesome. Because I didn't have an air cleaner on this thing for the longest time. But if we take a look here, we can see that gorgeous inline six. And look how much room there is to work on it too. Where if I put a 302 in this car, there is nowhere near this much room. Trying to get spark plugs out of those can actually be a little bit of a pain in the ass. They're not too bad, but not as easy as this. And like even look on this side where the exhaust is. You can reach the exhaust so easy. You can reach the starter. It's right there. Which that's the one thing with the header. I shouldn't have to go to a mini starter, but I might actually have to go to a mini starter, which would suck, but I'll find that out when the time comes for that. But it also, there's an air cleaner fitted through the car now, because I didn't have one for a while. It's just when I got this polycarbon, I just could not find what the thread was, and it turns out it's 3/8. It's a big thread, and I actually had to drill out the top of this. Now, the one thing is, if you actually look really carefully, it actually is hitting the fuel line right here, just very, very carefully, so that's why I don't, tighten it too much on there. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. And so, basically, it needs a little bit of a spacer, but to do the spacer, I'd have to, do the spacer, and then I'd have to cut down the stud a bit, but, it's not so bad. But the one thing is, this car, also, one of the reasons why I don't go to a V8, it's because of how light this car is. So, when it was absolutely bone stock, this car weighed 2,680 pounds. And I got it on the scales and confirmed that, which is really awesome. And, now, I mean, some of the things, it actually might be lighter than when it was stock. Because the thing is, when this thing was stock, it had a C4 automatic, which is a lot heavier than the T5. It had all of its, this car was a pretty much fully original car. It still had all of its emissions equipment under here, which, deleting all of those vacuum lines and everything, deleting the EGR valve, deleting all the extra tubing that was in here, it actually decreased the weight quite a bit up here. The 2-barrel carb is a little heavier than the 1-barrel, of course, and there are some other things that might be a little heavier, like the rear differential as an example. It's an 8.8, which is considerably heavier than the 6 3/4. But we take a look inside. It's a bit of a mess in here. I need to clean it, but I've got manual windows and everything. I have these seats, which these seats are actually lighter than the seats that came out of it, these stock seats, or even the 83 seats, because these are out of an 84 Mustang. But, and something, now, this thing does take a couple of attempts to start. It's just this carburetor design. This Holly, I still need to dial it in 100%, but these Hollies are a tricky little bastard. Now, I have not started this car today. It is still quite warm outside. And let's just see how she goes. So, I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go slowly. Oh! No, it's gonna stop. There we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And the exhaust note out the back, when it's cold, which it might actually stall again, but I don't think it will. But just listen to that. Just sounds absolutely bitchin', doesn't it? And I think this car does run a tad rich, which, you know, gotta tune that out eventually, but for now, it runs pretty good. And I need to put the manual choke mechanism in it, because, like, this thing doesn't have a proper choke at the moment. Like, the choke is there, it's just not hooked up, so, and this only has a manual choke, there's no provisions for an electric choke. But, yeah, so let's just go over, as I just let this thing warm up, because I do want to take it for a bit of a drive here. So, and you can hear that just awesome exhaust. So, putting a V8 in this car would actually cost quite a bit of money. So, to start, the K member would have to be swapped out. So you're looking at around $100 to $200 for a K member. Let's just split in the middle, $150, right? So start off with that. The 302 itself can cost anywhere between $300 to $500. Sometimes you can get them cheaper, sometimes you can get them for free. It just depends really. But so let's just say, for argument's sake, $400 for a 302, and that's just a basic 302 with no mods done to it whatsoever. You know, nothing special. That's like a low compression 302. So, okay, and let's say that's $400, right? So we're at $550 already. The front suspension you'll want to swap out, because that 302 is quite a bit heavier. It's like an extra 80 to 100 pounds heavier, if I remember correctly, than this inline 6 is. So, okay, front springs need to be replaced. Well, and then, retain the T5, of course, but and I already have a V8 bell housing, because this one actually came with the bell housing. So, sorry, my brain's not working here. So, new flywheel for a 302. You know, that's like $200. A clutch kit, even from like Rock Auto, is about $200. So that's actually $400 there. So we're at $950 already. And then you'd have to modify the exhaust, which you could utilize most of the piping, and just you'd have to connect it all to it. And you can actually do a true dual setup with a V8, which I can do a true dual with this one too, with the header that I have in the shed. But basically, you're going to be at over $1,000 when it's all said and done. And that's before you do anything fun. That's before, like, oh, you know, you want to do like a performance intake. Well, you know, that's a used one's like $200 for like a good Edelbrock or something like that. You want a nice Holly carb? Well, you know, that's probably around $300 on swap meet. And you go on and on and on. If you want a good set of BBK headers, that's another $200-300. On and on and on and on and on, right? And it gets to a point where it's very, very expensive. So that's one of the reasons why that I don't. And I've already spent the money to retain the inline 6 in this car. Like doing the T5 swap, because I already spent the money on, luckily that flywheel and everything, I actually got the flywheel for free. But I did, like the bell housing cost me money, the clutch work cost me money, and I had to modify said clutch work. And I had to buy an adapter plate. So bolt the, you know, it to the bell housing, right? Because the 66 bell housing does not match up with the T5 that way, so you just have to get that adapter from, I think it's Vintage Inlines or something like that that sells, I can't remember. But to be honest, I got mine secondhand, and great. You know, so those are some of the reasons, and another thing too. I love the reactions that I get when I pop the hood of this car, because people, when they hear this, they expect a 302. You know, just with this idle anyways. But once I start driving, it sounds a little different. They expect a 302, and you look at it, it goes, oh, you know, dual exhaust with whale tail, everything. And when I have the big, wide tires out back too, everybody thinks that's a 302. But then I pop the hood and they go, wait a minute, what? Inline 6? And yeah, I really do love this inline 6 a lot. And this car has been incredibly reliable to me. Now, don't get me wrong, it'd be a little more economical potentially on the other car to actually swap it to a V8. Because, you know, like it'd be easier to like go to like an AOD as an example and stuff like that. Much more viable in that car. But I'm gonna retain the inline 6 in both cars. Although that car, I might swap the inline 6 for a different 200 inline 6. The other 200 inline 6 that I'm thinking of, it's the late 81s and into the 82s that have the low mount starter bell housing. Those are 3/4 of a small block Ford bell housing. So you can use V8 parts, like you can use V8 clutch, V8 flywheel, V8 starter, all that different stuff, right? It really is nice with that setup. You know, or like that car, I don't want to swap to a manual, but you know, who knows? Maybe down the road. I do have another clutch for it, so I could do it, but we'll see. But yeah. Anyways, it's just one of these things, and also, like, so the thing is, so that number we came up with was what? Right around 11 to 1,200 bucks, right? To do everything to convert this to a V8. And that is only maybe about a 180 horsepower V8. Coincidentally, I could spend that money on this and make that or more, actually, with that amount of money. Because that'd be modifying the head, that would be getting the exhaust all done with the header and everything. That's throwing a cam in it, you know. That's not touching any of the rest of the internals of the motor then. And when I'm all said and done, I mean, this thing will make, give or take, because right now it makes 91 horsepower, 185 foot-pounds of torque, but that was with the big tires. With these small tires, it might actually make more power. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. You know, I'm just very excited for what's to come with this car. And to be honest, you know, like with the inline 6, because it's so unique, and I get really good gas mileage. This car gets like 32 miles to the gallon, you know, which is incredible. And, you know, which a 302, unless if you ran like 276 rear gears with a 0.68 overdrive, you might get to, not quite that, but you might get close. But it's still just one of these things. I just prefer this. It's lighter, the car is more flickable because again it's lighter, and it's fun. So, but anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please like the video, comment anything you want to see down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and yeah, hope we're staying safe during COVID-19. Good luck with what we're working on, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye! Pikachu!